So it's been a little over a week, I think, since I did one of these videos. I have my son here with me. Um, he'll be back in about 3.5 weeks, and then he'll be here for the summer until school starts. So, very blessed for that. I love having my son here. He was actually supposed to do a video to put on a video. I had an idea for a topic I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to add him to it. But we had our days off about when he was leaving, and we missed it by 2 days, so that didn't happen. So I'm doing a different video. I'll wait for him to come back to do that one. And I've been battling my depression a lot lately. Part of it has to do with the fact that I think I might be having additional. I don't have relapses because I had PPMS. Mine's constant. I just get further progression. So I guess that's the word I'm looking for. I think I'm having a progression moment. As I've told you before, my right arm doesn't turn very well, or doesn't come in very well. I can't stretch out to reach things, and I'm having a hard time getting my shorts up when I go to the bathroom. I'm having a hard time transferring between my chairs. The only thing keeping me from being bedridden is the ability to transfer, so I can get up from where I'm at to go to another chair, either the toilet or my power chair or my recliner are the three things I get to use. Previously, whenever I got really depressed, I would not do journal entries, but I would do poetry. I spent a lot of time in my early 20s, late teens, going to poetry readings. I even hosted my own open mic prior to 9/11 happening. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love poetry. I've always loved poetry. It's always my favorite 6-week period typically in school we would get to do. I used to love Shakespeare whenever that was the topic or the story we would read for that particular semester or whatever. So what I thought about doing is adding some of my poetry to this so that, one, it's documented for my son, but two, I've always used it, again, as an outlet, as a way to just pour thunder and rage through a pencil to a page. I can't do that anymore. I've got my Dragon program where I can do it verbally, or do it audibly and let it dictate it for me, but it has its problems. It doesn't pick up some of the same words. So I'm constantly having to go back and fix it as I'm doing it, and that throws me off because you'll notice when I start reading these poems that I don't do a whole lot of rhyming. It's what I call conscious stream of thought. It's just what I'm thinking as I'm thinking it. Sometimes it rhymes. Sometimes as I'm writing it, I catch a beat in my head and I'll write something to that beat, but it's not consistent through it. It's just organized chaos of thought. It's about the best way I could put it. And these are not going to be pretty. I'm not picking my hearts and flowers type poems, and I don't write a whole lot of those anyway. When I write poetry, it's typically very introspective, and it's me dealing with an emotion or a fear or something that I'm trying to push out and fight. And I tell you this because it is a fabulous way to deal with anger. I remember being told back in school that if you ever got angry, write a letter. Write a letter, write everything you ever wanted to say to the person you're angry at or the thing you're angry at. Write it. And then when you're done, throw it away. You're done with it. You said what you wanted to say. A lot of times what we deal with when we're angry is because something's bottled up and you don't have a way to get it out. Poetry is a great way to let it out. So if I get some reactions to this and people like this, I'll do more. I'm going to take myself out of the frame, read the poem, and then when it's over, I'll discuss kind of where I was and what was happening with it. Alright, so I hope you enjoy. Crossing over. The heat must be too close or I am already in hell. My wax is dripping with my tears, washing away the near, the behind, and the distant. My fist constricts in anger as my body clenches with this goddamn disease. I am perpetual unease. Left in unrest, though I did my best. No regrets to fret and let set in concrete. My marble is fixed. Pickup sticks. 52 cards to raise from the dead. Am I the suicide king? This isn't a game, it's my life. Strife, ignore the knife, and learn to cope. But by myself has in turn given rope. Happiness is only having something to look forward to, and I do not. I am not, but I am still. Do you understand? I am here, but not. Found each day, lost. At what cost? Time. Time is the elixir and the hemlock, the fairy tale and the witch's apple. When will I sleep as Snow White, my life lost of beauty? When will I soar upon high with a choir and trumpets as told? When? Can you tell me that when you say it's not my time? So sure you people are in your effervescent smugness, yet you can't dumb down the truth to let me know? You're no more sure about now than then, or when. You're a farce, a manipulative blur to lure me from my thoughts. All of you who tell me I have to move on, when all I want to do is move on. And you still say no. So, I'm very metaphorical when I write, but that one I thought I would start off with because it's probably one of the easier ones to understand and see exactly where I'm coming from. Especially there towards the end. This was a poem just straight out of frustration. In my suicidal moments. I don't pretend to be suicidal. I'm really not. I'm just done. I don't have a care as to the end. I want it to be over. And I think people who truly are suicidal are the ones who have that same thought with no patience. Because that's why you click to the end. You flip the book to its last page so you can get to the end of the book. I've said before in I think my very first diary video that I don't plan on living out 20 years in a nursing home, bedridden and hooked to machines and colostomy bags or diapers or unable to talk. I can't do it. I know I can't do it. But it doesn't make me suicidal. It makes me know who I am. So, kind of go through the lines here of the writing. I've said in several videos, happiness is nothing more than having something to look forward to. That's, this is something I wrote a couple of years ago, shortly after I found out about my MS. I don't understand all of my emotions to the extent I can always deal with them. Sometimes it's a cascade of just overwhelming thoughts, but at no time is it really fear. or scared. It's irritation, it's frustration, but I have found acceptance in both who I am, what has happened to me, and how things, I believe, will end. I am 100% at peace with everything, which is one of the reasons why I think I can do this. And I'll say that now, and you're going to say, well, what the hell are you doing making videos for people who have MS if this is your outlook on things? It's for that very reason. Not that I want anybody to make that same decision. But if you are, then you're obviously thinking about things in a, hopefully, in an acceptance way. If you're thinking of it out of fear, out of, I don't know, sorrow, anxiety. As I said before in another video, there's nothing left to be anxious about. Once you get past anxiety, you'll find acceptance. But there is nothing left to be anxious about. You have your diagnosis. You know what's happening. You know the prognosis of where things will go. So from here on out, there's nothing to be anxious about other than when different steps might happen, but you know they're going to. So from this point forward, once you find acceptance, then it's just about, planning, goals, deadlines. And there's going to be so many people who see this and see it as a horrible negative. I just don't. I don't, because, again, I'm not suicide. I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to do things that would make horrible memories for family, or to know that I, used a gun or something, left a horrible scene, and that's how they're remembered. No, this is why everyone knows already that my future plans, whenever that time comes, it could be 3 or 4 years from now. It can be 15 years from now. I know what my deadline is as far as where I'm at physically. And to me, it just is what it is. I can't do anything else about it. So that I don't use this topic multiple times, hopefully, in more than one video, I'm going to read a second poem that is from a moment where I thought I died. I thought I had a heart attack and I was dying. And the next day I wrote this poem. So, here it goes. Good night. I died last night. Well, so I thought. My heart rumbling and thumping, aching to leave my chest and explore the world on its own. Skin blazing and rippling with invisible needles. Fate trying to skin this cat of his 9 life. My breath running full speed on a fool's errand, impossible to catch and relieve of its mission. The pain was real. The emotion was empty. Face stoic, as I stared out the sliding glass door to watch the gently swaying branches of a live oak and the night sky. The fear you'd expect never showed up for duty. The acceptance of it was peaceful, eternally grateful for my internal collapse. I was leaving this world on my own terms, quietly into that good night, without having to provide actions of my own or from my own hands. I had always wondered how this would be when our light goes out. Do we scream and shout, or simply understand our time has come? I did the latter, as I felt it didn't matter. So long I've waited for the natural cure to this disease known as life. My thoughts slowed and vision dimmed. This was it, my final farewell. Strangely remembered, though, in the darkest, I met a young woman, perhaps that of 13 years. She didn't speak, but held her hand out to me to accept mine in our new travel, my new destination, in this new dimension, my fate unknown for eternal detention. Then with thunderous quaking all around me, all went black and my eyes opened, scanning for something familiar, lost in my own body as my vision restored in a slow motioned haze, like staring at the heat waves coming off the blacktop. This reality I cried to be a mirage. Was I in hell? Yes, indeed I was. I was back in my living room, all alone, and nothing has changed. So, like I said, I write a lot of dark stuff. In this moment, I was having a panic attack. This was about a week after I got my MS diagnosis. I'd never had a panic attack before, so I didn't know what it felt like. But effectively, that's what it was by the end of it. When it happened, my heart was just racing like I just drank a 12-pack of Red Bull. I couldn't slow it down. I couldn't really catch my breath. And I really thought this was the end. And I wasn't going to call 911. I wasn't going to be resuscitated and have someone come do CPR on me if I, died. I was content. I wasn't worried about it. The pain of it sucked, but I was just there. I did call for my son, who didn't answer, wanting to talk to him before I left. And when he didn't answer, I called my mother. And I talked to her for a little bit. Told her, because she could hear something was wrong. I told her that I was having what I thought, jokingly, or lyingly, I guess, I told her I thought I may be having a panic attack. I didn't think that's what it was. But just to kind of keep her calm. And when I started to get kind of, not nodding off, but like I couldn't get my thoughts together, finally told her I loved her, and that I was getting off the phone, and that I was going to turn on some classical music and lay down in my chair and try to relax. And we got off the phone, and I think I told her call me back in 30 minutes or something along those lines. And so basically, so that I wasn't left there, because my son wasn't supposed to come see me for like another 4 days, so I didn't want to be there dead for several days and then have him get dropped off and find me like that. So my expectation was that I was going to die, and Mom would call, I wouldn't answer, she would call someone else to come check on me because she didn't live in town, and I would be found, and that would be the end of it. So when I got off the phone, I did what I told her I was going to do. I laid down, and I put on some old big band swing music, just something that was on my Alexa. I just called out and said, play this, and I don't think I made it through one song. I was out, unable to catch my breath. I basically was hyperventilating, and all the rest of that poem is real, though. I do have a memory of kind of being guided. Whether that was a dream caused by what I thought was happening, I don't know. But the thunderous quaking and stuff was, my mom had in fact tried to get a hold of me several times. Everything I thought that would happen what's happening. She called me a half hour later. I didn't answer. She called me about 15 minutes after that. I had like 4 missed calls on my phone. And she eventually got a hold of my son's mother, and I was the only person she knew in town who knew where I lived, and got a hold of her and said, he's been having this problem. He thought he was out. He told me to call back in a half hour. If not, to call someone else. My mom was frantically crying and stuff, I guess, is from what she said. And in the poem, the quaking and stuff is Gabe's mom slamming the door, like just pound, 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 pound. And when I didn't come to the door, I guess then she checked the door and the door was unlocked. And so she opened the door and called my name a few times and eventually yelled my name. And that's when I woke up. And I had, in that moment, I had no idea who she was. I was married to her for 9 years. I had no idea who she was. And I looked around, and everything was familiar, but it wasn't. It's just a very weird thing. But the time frame, though, was 3.5 hours. That's how long it took from, like I said, call me back in a half hour. It was now 3.5 hours. And me and my mom had never talked about this, but I assume she spent the whole time there panicking and not knowing what to do. She's, 400 miles away. And she, when I finally kind of come to and I'm kind of back in my own reality, she goes, "You need to call your mother." And so I did, and I saw my phone. I had like 3 or 4 missed phone calls. So I called her, and you can hear it in her voice. She's trying not to let me know she's crying, but you can hear her choking up and stuff. And on one side, I wish that was the end. Not because I want to miss anything. I would love to see grandchildren for my son. I would love to see him graduate college, get married. Those are things that I won't be able to go to. I don't think I can physically get there. But those are achievements that I want to know that he has. But what hurts me the most is I truly do believe my mom thought I died that night. And went through all the emotions and stuff of that being the case. Then to have it not happen, and possibly have to deal with it again in her lifetime. My mom is, she's about to be 69, and she's healthy. She had a car accident a few years ago that really banged her up, broke both of her arms, broke her sternum, collarbone. She got hit by a drunk driver doing 120 miles an hour. But otherwise, she's healthy. She's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I can picture her in her 90s. That's 20 some odd years away. I can't picture me then. And that's horrible to, one, lose a child. Secondly, lose the same child twice. So that's one of the reasons why I don't consider myself to be suicidal, is because I don't want to hurt anybody. In the end, yes, I guess in the end it will hurt people, but it won't be a I'm so sad surprise. Everyone will know it's coming. People will know when it will be. So several states have this death with dignity, and it's a cocktail that you take, and you can legally get it and go. The problem is you have to have a diagnosis that says you only have 6 months left to live. MS doesn't have that. MS doesn't kill you. You die of complications due to MS. Sedentary diseases like kidney failure and stuff like that. But none of that comes with a diagnosis that you have 6 months left to live. It just happens and takes you when it wants to take you. So if you're asking yourself if that's how this is happening, no. So just know that it's not anytime soon. I would read another one, but I'm not going to. The video is already at 26 minutes. So I will try to make this a little more upbeat next time. But again, all my poems are going to be dealing with anger or rage. And I've said before, rage only has 2 endpoints if you fight with rage. Rage has homicide or suicide, external or internal. That is the clinical, psychological facts of rage at their most extreme points. So I'm actually going to listen to this back and see how bad and horrible this all is. And this may not make it. This is me talking to myself right now as I'm going to do the editing. However, if it does make it, even this I'll leave in there just for something to laugh at later, I guess. But again, this is all me. This is my thoughts. This is who I am. This is the deep, dark stuff that even you might have written in a diary somewhere that you don't want the world to see. But I hope you getting to see my diary somehow helps you to know that you're not alone. Other people think these thoughts. Other people have the same fears, anxieties, hopelessness at times. And I'm here to talk if you want to talk and help you find a path and acceptance to the life that has been gifted to us one way or the other. But until next time, you guys be safe out there, and God bless.